Hello viewers, welcome to our lecture series on marketing management, and we are going to discuss with you today on the topic of product development and product life cycle. This is going to be part 3 of our lectures on product development and PLC. As you all know that we have already discussed about the process of developing new product and what we do into that. Now it's time for us to understand the different characteristics of a product mix. So, there are three important terms in marketing which we are using. One is individual product, another is product line, and then we have a term called product mix. So, how they are different from each other, that also I would explain to you, that what is product mix, what is product line, and what is individual product. And then we will talk about the stages and characteristics of product life cycle, the way the life of a product runs. So, what is that cyclical process in which the product is completing its life? And eventually we will talk about the strategies for products in different stages of PLC, that what should be an ideal strategy of a marketer according to the different stages of product life cycle. So, with this as an agenda of today's lecture, let me tell you about the product mix. What is product mix? We all know about marketing mix. In marketing mix, we talk about the 4 P's: product, price, place and promotion. And now imagine within the product there is a term called product mix. So, when I talk about product mix, it is basically the total assortment of products and services marketed by a firm. So, if you ask me about the marketing mix of the product mix of HUL, Hindustan Unilever Limited as a company, so the total assortment of products, all the lines and items with which this company is dealing, that would be called as product mix, which means it is whatever is being marketed by you, it is all included in the word product mix. So, it is the most wider term for indicating about the product lines and items of a company, and that is why we call it product mix. So, product mix encompasses individual products and also the product lines, or the right way of saying it is product lines and individual products also. Now, coming to product line, once I have understood what is product mix, coming to product line. So, product line is basically a group of individual products which are closely related in some way. So, the same types of products, suppose if in the same category you are launching different products, so they all will fall in one product line. For instance, if you are talking about the segment of selling toothpaste, so that would be one product line. In that product line, whatever items you are introducing, whatever different individual products you are introducing, they would be collectively called as product line, or it can be a related products also. Here I told you about the same type of product like toothpaste only, but if we talk about toothpaste and toothbrush, so they are closely related in the same way, they belong to the same segment. Or if you go one step ahead, even the tongue cleaner can also be added to that. So, the group of individual products which are closely related in some way, they are basically called as product line. Now, coming to individual product. What is individual product? Any brand or variant of a brand in a product line. For instance, if you take toothpaste, Pepsodent is one variant of a brand marketed by a marketer in a product line, or Colgate for that matter is one variant of a brand, or you can take any name, you can take Colgate, you can take Close Up, you can take Pepsodent, you can take any brand or variant of a brand in a product line. But the similarity here is that they all belong to the same segment, the same category, where they are actually talking about the selling of toothpaste. So, you can say, now you can understand that many individual products, they form a product line, and many product line, they form a product mix. It is just like many days form a week and different weeks form a month. It is just like that. So, individual product is basically the smallest unit, and then comes product line, and eventually we when we club them all together, we call it as product mix. So, quite easy to understand and remember. So, if you talk about the product mix of a company, it may comprise of many product lines, and those lines may comprise of many individual products. As simple as this, you can understand. Now, we should understand what are the characteristics of a product mix. Having understood about the individual product, product line and mix, now we should talk about the product mix characteristics. So, I am introducing some technical terms in front of you, and you can easily understand step by step. Product mix width, when we call about product mix width, what does it mean? The number of product lines in the product mix. Suppose if a company is dealing in 10 different segments or 10 different types of product lines, you can say that this company is having 10 product lines. So, it is going to give us an idea of the width of that company, that see, this is the magnitude, this is the extent of this company's dealings, that it is dealing in 10 product lines. So, number of product lines in the product mix is being called as product mix width. Now, another term is product line length. Line length we are talking about, the number of products in a product line. Suppose if you talk about one product line called toothpaste, and in that segment a company is having 10 different products in that particular line. So, we call it to be the length of that product line, that the number of products in a product line. Suppose you are introducing 10 different variants of a toothpaste in that particular segment, we would call that the 10 is your product line, in the length of that product line is 10, which means there are 10 individual products added into one product line. Now, third term is product mix consistency. So, here we have to understand that why are we using this term product mix consistency, because we are trying to understand the relatedness of the different product lines in a product mix. So, how, in what manner they are related to each other? Are they related to different product lines in a product mix? If they are related, there we talk about the product mix consistency. Suppose if a company is selling detergent powder, so they are selling detergent powder, but are they also selling detergent soap? Are they also selling the detergent powder which is washing machine friendly? Because nowadays we are talking about the washing powders which should be friendly to the washing machines also. So, we have to understand that when we try to relate the different product lines in a product mix, we talk about product mix consistency. So, having understood product mix width, line length and mix consistency, now we can talk about the product strategies. So, when we are finding a product in the market, we assume that it is so easy to introduce a product, marketer is simply manufacturing and selling it to us. But if you look at the strategy behind a product which is coming to us, so there is a complete you can say a meticulous process which is being followed by a marketer, and nowadays it is becoming more and more complex and time bound, because if they are not introducing the right product or doing some modifications in the product at right time, they have all the reason to get vanished, to get finished, because their competitors are ready to offer a new product according to the requirement of the customers. So, when we talk about the product strategies, and having said strategies, I wish to indicate towards having a policy which should be like a war room policy. When we strategize, our goal is always to stay ahead of our competitors. Otherwise, we could have called it as policy. If you translate this word strategy into Hindi language, we call it a Ranneeti, and Ran means war and Neeti means policy. So, we are talking about a policy related to a war. So, the marketing of a product has now become like a war. So, your strategy should be like a war room person who is dealing with different types of situations. So, here for convenience we are classifying the product strategies in 3 different segments. One is the one which is related to individual product strategies, second is product line strategies, and third is product mix strategies. So, what is my strategy as a marketer at the level of individual products, at the level of product line, and eventually at overall level, that is called product mix level. So, if we talk about the individual product level, we have to first understand what is PLC, what is product life cycle. So, just to give you a brief idea here, which I am going to explain in detail little later, that a product life cycle passes through different stages, starting from introduction to growth, then maturity and decline. So, for all 4 stages, we have different strategies. What are those strategies? I will tell you little later. But just for the sake of having a holistic idea, at individual product level, we are having 4 different types of strategies according to different stages, that is introduction, growth, maturity and decline. Then coming to product line strategy, here we talk about the product line stretching, filling. The stretching can be upward stretching, downward stretching or two-way stretching, that also I will tell you. So, it can either be stretching, filling or at times there is a contraction strategy. For product mix, we go for having branding strategies, we go for adding some new products, new product lines into our segment, or at times we are bound to delete some existing product lines, which is done at a broader level, at macro level, where company goes for resorting to this kind of strategy. So, my dear learners, it is just to give you a brief idea that product strategy can be classified into 3 broad categories for individual products, for line and also for mix. And in each segment, there are different types of strategies which we follow. Now, let us talk about the first one, individual product strategies. As we all know, what is individual product? The item given in one product line, it can be one variant or one brand which you have introduced in a specific product line. Now, when we talk about individual product strategies, for that we should first understand what is PLC, product life cycle. At times my students are asking me, sir, can product also have its own life? Are you talking about the expiry date of a product? Of course not. I am not talking about the expiry date or the best before date of a product. It has nothing to do with that expiry date or best before date. Here we are talking about the life cycle of a product. It is just like our life. We start our journey, we take birth, we grow young, then we grow old and eventually we die. So, it is just like a product passes through different phases. So, this entire concept of PLC, it describes the advancement of products through identifiable stages of their existence. So, we are going to talk about the existence, the stages of existence of a product, that for your existence what are the different stages, and it can be introduction, growth, maturity and decline. On x axis we show time and on y axis we show sales. So, starting from introduction to growth, maturity and decline, a product is actually completing its stages of existence. This is a complete life cycle of a product, which starts from the introductory stage, completes growth, then maturity, reaches maturity and eventually at some point of time is bound to see decline if there is no modification, there is no change in the existing product by the marketers. Now, when we talk about the product life cycle, we have to understand that this entire concept of PLC is based on 4 basic premises. The first is that products have a limited life. Just like us, we cannot live for 200 years, 300 years, 500 years. If we go to Indian understanding Indian spirituality, I won't call it mythology, because when I say mythology, it means it is based on myth. No, it is basically a complete science which talks about astrology, and it says that human life is, say for instance, it is for 100 years, but that too is a limited period. Likewise, products do have a limited life. You cannot say that you are introducing a product today and you can keep on selling the same product without any modification for say 200 years, 300 years. So, that product is having a limited life, that we should admit, we should accept. So, this is the first basic premise of the entire concept of product life cycle. Now, the second premise is the product sales passes through distinct stages, and each stage requires different marketing implications, and of course, once they are having different marketing implications, you need to change your strategies according to a situation, according to a specific stage. So, you cannot follow one size fit all approach here. What was successful at the stage of introduction, the same may not be successful at the stage of maturity or decline. So, your strategy need to change according to the stage, at what stage your product is passing through, at what stage your product is right now. So, accordingly we can change. So, this is the second most significant premise of the concept of product life cycle. Third is that profit from a product vary at different stages in the life cycle. You cannot assume that your product will be giving you the same profit in all stages. It is just like expecting from a human being that the person will start earning from the date of birth. No, it takes lot of time to raise a child into a young man or into a young girl, and then they go for their livelihood and they earn. And there also comes a stage where they grow old and they take retirement, or they are not in a position to earn more, earn what they have been earning during their productive life, that is called from the age of say for instance 25 to 60. So, you cannot expect the same profit from a product at different stages. Of course, they are bound to vary at different stages in the life cycle. And the fourth premise of the concept of PLC is that products require different strategies at different life cycle stages. So, marketing implications are different, that is why we require different marketing strategies. So, these four premises make this entire idea of PLC a robust one, a most significant one in the marketing. If you want to succeed in your marketing strategies, you should understand that every product has its own life cycle, and according to the stage of its life cycle, you should formulate your strategy and implement it. Otherwise, if you carry on with the same strategy, you carry on with the same product, of course, you are not going to get the desired results what you are supposed to get. Now, here it is very much pertinent for us to understand the diffusion of innovation theory, and this diffusion of innovation theory was developed by E.M. Rogers. Rogers is a name which is still famous since 1962. Whenever we talk about the innovation of diffusion, the theory of diffusion of innovation comes to us, and the name of Rogers automatically comes to us. He was basically a communication theorist at University of New Mexico, and in 1962 he gave an idea of diffusion of innovations, and it explains the passage of a new idea through stages of adoption by different people who participate in or begin using the new idea. So, in what manner we are going to adopt the new ideas, the new innovations? So, if you talk about the entire diffusion process, the way people adopt innovation, if you ask me to summarize it, I would say the rate at which general public is adopting innovations, the newness. And you will be surprised to note, as per Rogers, if we believe, as per that research paper published in 1962, Rogers talks about innovators to be 2.5% of the total population, which means only 2.5% of the total population they dare to innovate. They are ready to accept the innovation. And my dear learners, 95% of the advertisements they target towards these 2.5% people, because they are the one who are going to adopt the innovations. The next step is of early adopters, and it is basically representing 13.5% of the total population. They are not that innovative as innovators are, but somehow they take lead in adopting the innovations. So they are being called as early adopters. Then comes the stage of early majority, which represents 34% of the total population, and they are basically a step below the early adopters. They are not as techno friendly or as you can say liberal in terms of adopting innovation as early adopters are. Then comes late majority, which is after early majority. It is also 34%, and remaining is 16%, that is laggards, and they are not ready to accept the innovation. So Roser talked about this entire diffusion process, and once you understand this diffusion process, you will never say, you will never talk negative about why people don't accept innovation. You will never criticize people who are not adopting innovation, because it is basically a step by step process. According to their personality, their educational background, they adopt the strategies, they adopt the innovations. So after understanding this, I will be telling you about PLC stages and its characteristics, that what is the status of sales, profit and competition at different stages, so that you can understand that your strategy will change accordingly. Of course, at introduction stage your sales is going to be low, and it will increase slowly with the growth, and then at maturity the growth may be slow, and at decline you cannot see any growth into that, it is bound to decline. And the same will be the case of profit also. Competition is initially little, but it increases with growth, and at maturity it becomes very fierce or cutthroat, and at decline it keeps on changing. So I will be telling you in the next lecture of mine how to formulate your strategy according to different stages of product life cycle. I hope you must have enjoyed this very segment of my lectures on marketing management. Stay connected. Thank you so much.